RCB live to fight another day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your new favorite cricket fan channel, Willow and Leather. This is Shravan joining you once again. Apologies for not, putting out any videos over the last week or so. It's been a busy few days at home, but definitely wanted to catch up and do a video, especially after the result today for RCB, comprehensively beating Punjab Kings by 60 runs. Doing the double over them this season, and with that, the slim hope, the 1% chance still remains open and alive for RCB in this tournament. But I think that is still getting ahead of ourselves. So let's just focus on this game. And do a quick deep dive of how the game went down. Firstly, once again, RCB batting, Punjab Kings, Sam Curran winning the toss and choosing to bowl first. Absolutely right decision, given there is a possibility of dew in Dharamshala later in the evenings as well. But Virat Kohli, that man, the king himself, once again off to a flyer, showing some excellent intent in the power play, and that I think has been like a massive shift in the way the team has approached the last few games in their batting. I think we were doing reasonably well in the power plays in the beginning part of the tournament as well, but the middle order has definitely stepped up, and they are feeling a little bit more confident in taking some chances and being a little bit more aggressive in those middle overs, and I think that has been the massive difference for us over the last few games. As I said, Virat Kohli kind of anchoring the innings of sorts, but doing that remarkably well with a strike rate of in excess of 195. If folks caught his neat little interview right after the first innings, he did do a cheeky nod to the strike rate and all the discussions around it. But once again, I've said this time and time again, he doesn't need to, answer to anyone with respect to the strike rate or his ability to accelerate in the different situations of the game. I think a lot of people are just very highly fixated on how he does personally, just looking at the stats. Without really looking at the bigger picture of how the team was doing around him, what the match situation was, and all of that. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the experts, I think it was on Cricinfo, I think, who mentioned a couple of weeks ago that especially in games where, Virat Kohli is chasing, strike rate doesn't even matter, right? I think a lot has been made of his strike rate, but as long as particularly in chases, as long as he's out there and he's steering the team to victory or to within touching distance of victory, strike rate doesn't really matter. But even in those innings that he's batting first, he's showing time and time again his ability to be able to get those runs at a quick pace. Again, goes down to the fact that he sometimes needs to adjust his game just based on what is happening around him. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to, really bother about that part of the equation and just look at his statistics and his strike rate in isolation and not really consider the whole situation. But even for those few, people who like to nitpick, I think the last few innings he's well and truly shown how well equipped and capable he is of accelerating right from the get-go and continuing that momentum, powering through the middle overs as well. Obviously, Faf and Will Jacks not really scoring a whole lot today, falling to the debutant Vidwat Kaverappa. Such a great sight to see an emerging pace bowler from Karnataka making his debut in the IPL and doing exceptionally well in his first outing, picking up those two crucial wickets, but also created 2 or 3 more chances, I think. Unfortunately, the fielding and the catching let him down. Otherwise, he would have probably had Virat Kohli's wicket as well. And that would have been something remarkable. But despite those drop chances, he still picked up those 2 wickets, and the first 3 overs were really good. But I think they just pushed it a little too far by bringing him on for that 4th over when the ball had stopped swinging, and he went for a few runs in that 4th over. But again, looks like an exceptional find. Great to see a tall pacer coming in and swinging the ball. It's obviously always a great sight to watch good swing pace bowlers. So hopefully this is the first of many games for him in his IPL career, and hopefully we get to see a lot more of him in the coming seasons as well. But I think that was probably the only shining light in the Punjab Kings bowling. Harshal Patel actually did pretty well towards the end, especially. I think for the first couple of overs that he bowled in the middle, went for a few runs, didn't really pick up any wickets, but then towards the death there, did exceptionally well. Even getting the likes of Cam Green and Dinesh Karthik out, bowled an excellent slow Yorker to get Mahipal Lomror bowled as well. He did the same with another Mahi a few days ago, getting Mahendra Singh Dhoni bowled on the very first ball that he faced in that particular game with the exact same kind of a delivery, a slower Yorker, beating the batsman all ends up, and that is something that he went back to again today and was very successful with it. And so with those 3 wickets today, Harshal Patel picks up the purple cap. He's been having a great season, slightly on the expensive side, but he's the one who's bowling those tough overs at the death, so you would naturally expect him to go for a few more runs, but as long as he's picking up those wickets, I think that's the value that he adds to the team. So Kavirappa and Harshal Patel were the two good bowling performances today. Everyone else went for a lot of runs. Arshdeep Singh, unfortunately, again just bowling those 3 overs and went for 41 runs. Picked up the 1 wicket of Virat Kohli, eventually keeping it way wide outside off stump and forcing Kohli to fetch one, and then he holed out in the deep covers. But besides that, not a whole lot to write home about. The other odd thing was after the 18th over, I think they were like 1 over left for Arshdeep and Harshal Patel each. So I'm naturally assuming that it would be Harshal Patel and Arshdeep bowling those 19th and 20th overs. But for whatever reason, Sam Curran decides to bring on Rahul Chahar for the 19th over, which didn't go very well, unfortunately, for him. So that plan backfired, and Arshdeep Singh never finished his quota of 4 overs. So that was a very strange decision from Sam Curran. But besides that, just focusing on the RCB batting again, Kohli kind of anchoring and steering the innings through with a very, very impressive strike rate of his own. Ably supported, and in fact in that particular partnership heavily dominated by Rajat Patidar. What a turnaround he has had to the season. In the first few games he was kind of looking a little short of confidence, short of rhythm, but in that second half of the tournament he has turned things around drastically. I think again scoring, I think it was a 50 in 21 balls today, rapid pace, and he is taking the attack to the spinners like nobody's business. I think there was just 1 over from Rahul Chahar where he took him for 3 sixes, and it's turning out to be a very, very fruitful strategy for RCB, having the likes of Will Jacks or Rajat Patidar go after the spinner, so that way we are able to keep that momentum all through the innings. At the top you have at least one of Virat or Faf, sometimes both of them really powering through the power play, making sure that we get those 50, 60, 70 runs in the power play. And then in the middle, once we get through that power play, you have the likes of Will Jacks and Rajat Patidar to come in and really keep the foot on the accelerator against the spinners. And then towards the death, later on, you have folks like Cam Green, Dinesh Karthik, and the likes to kind of follow and then finish the innings off in style as well. So I think this ploy is definitely working well. The batting order, I think ever since Will Jacks has been fit into this lineup, I think it's been doing wonders. Maxwell got a couple of games, didn't get to bat 2 games ago when Will Jacks had that blistering century. Next game, the return fixture against Gujarat Titans at Chinnaswamy, again trying to just finish the game early, got out for a duck as well, and he was asked to sit out again today, which I thought was probably the right move, just given the form that some of these other middle order batsmen are getting into. Will Jacks, Rajat Patidar, Cam Green, all of them have contributed in a significant way with the bat over the last 3 or 4 matches, one way or the other. So with those many options, I think it just made sense to sit Maxwell out. All I wish is that they would have taken that decision a few matches earlier, earlier and brought in Will Jacks sooner. If folks have seen my videos, or most other RCB fans have been calling for Will Jacks to be in the playing 11 for a long time now. But better late than never. He's made his way into that lineup and seems to have added a lot more balance in the middle. And hopefully they can keep this going. Absolutely fantastic innings from Rajat Patidar. I think I was reading up earlier today that four out of the seven fastest 50s for RCB have come in this season in the last 3 weeks or so, out of which 3 have come from the bat of Rajat Patidar. So he has been exceptionally belligerent and brutal against the spinners, but he's equally capable of taking down pace bowlers as well. I think it was Arshdeep today that he just clobbered for 1-6 off a back of the length delivery. Absolutely stunning. And he seems to have that talent and the skill and the ability to kind of take on even the best of the best bowlers, which is great. One thing that I would like to see more from him is to see him convert those 50s into a 70, 80 or even 100. I think far too many times this season he's gotten to a 50 plus score but doesn't really convert that into a bigger score. But again, that is just nitpick. Just given the strike rate at which he's going in the middle overs, I think the instructions are very clear for him is to just keep attacking, and see how much it pays off, to be honest, just because he has that luxury of other batsmen to follow afterwards. And especially when you have someone like a Virat Kohli on the other end, you have the complete free license to go after the bowling as much as possible. And I think that aggressive approach has benefited RCB significantly. Cam Green as well, I think, played a really good hand in the later part, partnering well with Virat Kohli initially and then with Dinesh Karthik for a while as well. Unfortunate not to get a 50 today, but I think he did exceptionally well in that batting performance too. RCB with that fantastic overall effort, posting 241, which I thought was well above par score, and it was nice to see the batsman kind of getting those runs. I think earlier on in the season, the frustrating part for me as a fan was the fact that on paper we probably have, if not one of the best, probably the best batting top 6 or top 7, right? But that never translated into intent and aggression on the field. There was always this fear of, what if we lose 1 or 2 extra wickets here or there? So there were periods in the game where we were a little bit slower, not, willing to take a few risks. But I think with some of these other middle order batsmen finding form, everyone else above them are just feeling a lot more confident in being able to take those chances. Because that you have that insurance policy lower down the order. And from that moment where we've kind of, really taken the more aggressive approach, I think it was the game against Sunrisers Hyderabad in Bangalore, that high scoring game where they made 280 plus and we scored like 260 or whatever that was. I think from that game onwards there has been a brilliant shift in the approach when it comes to the batting, because we've seen all these other teams and again, not taking away from some of these other batting orders, but we've seen the likes of Sunrisers Hyderabad or Kolkata Knight Riders getting off to absolute flyers. And I think given the caliber of batting that the RCB order has, they should have been a lot more aggressive from the first match, which unfortunately they weren't. But now it looks like they found their mojo. Maybe the fact that we're pretty much out of contention for the top 4 has kind of mentally freed up a lot of these players to be able to go out and play a little bit bolder. But one way or the other, it's absolutely brilliant to see the kind of form that these guys are hitting, albeit a little too late perhaps in the tournament. Right, so that was the bowling. Batting, absolutely power pack performance once again. 241, fantastic score. And with respect to Punjab Kings innings, not too much to talk about. Unfortunately, Riley Rousseau being the only player who made a significant dent, and until he was there at the crease, it really looked very, very possible for Punjab Kings to be able to chase down the score. Now at the end of it, obviously you look at the score and say RCB has won by 60 runs, but up until maybe the 10th or 12th over, they were well and truly in that game, until I think they lost the wickets of Riley Rousseau and then immediately Jitesh Sharma and Livingston. I think those 3 wickets in the span of 2 or 3 overs, I think think that obviously broke the back of the chase. Kind of an average performance from RCB in the power play. I think in the last 2 or 3 games we've done exceptionally well in the power play. It was a mixed bag today. I think Swapnil Singh once again proving his worth as the all-rounder, left-arm orthodox all-rounder in the team, is gutsy enough to bowl in that power play, and once again picking up a wicket initially, which was great. And then Johnny Bairstow and Riley Russo really started turning the accelerators on. Siraj not really doing too well in those power play overs. But then Lockie Ferguson showing a little bit of guile and skill, bowling that knuckle slower one which got Johnny Bairstow. And then the spinners came to the party. Karan Sharma kept going for runs, kept getting hit for 1 or 2 boundaries in every over, but kept coming back and picking up a crucial wicket here and there. Picked up Riley Russo's wicket and Jitesh Sharma's wicket as well. And then Swapnil Singh, after picking up Simran Singh initially, came back to pick up Liam Livingston. So again, fantastically well done from the spinners. Even Will Jacks, I think, slipped in 1 or 2 overs. I think it was 1 over and he just went for 5 runs. So that, again, those kind of minor things in the game have a huge impact. You might look at it and say, hey, it's just 1 over, but it is 5% of your innings, right? And when you're chasing a score in excess of 240, you're looking at 12 runs and over. Even 1 quiet over with 4 or 5 runs going away, I think it makes a huge difference. It has a profound impact on the required run rate and the kind of risks that the batting team has to take in the following over. And I think some of these other bowlers really benefited from a couple of tight overs like that in between. Towards the end, Mohammad Siraj came back very strongly, picking up 3 crucial wickets there. And as I said, I think Riley Russo's wicket was the key one, but then Shashank Singh, unfortunate to be run out by an absolute brilliant piece of fielding once again from the King. He's starting to make this a habit now, getting a run out in the games after scoring for his team as well, which is great to see. Just shows his level of involvement and excitement and passion in the game. So that's absolutely wonderful to see. Always there on the field, completely present, never short of any commitment on the field. Kohli. That wicket of Shashank Singh was absolutely crucial as well, because he's been the man in form. He's been the top scorer, run getter for Punjab Kings this season. And he was hitting it pretty well while he was out there as well. So his wicket was absolutely crucial as well. But yeah, once they lost Shashank Singh, I think it was more of a 4th round conclusion, and the lower order really not coming to the party at all. The last 4 or 5 players all getting bundled out for single digits. Unfortunately, Sam Curran tried to put up a little bit of a fight, but again, Ferguson with another knuckleball deceived him pretty well. So yeah, all in all, I think a good bowling effort. I think could have definitely done much better in the power play. Siraj especially, I thought, could have done a lot better, but it was nice to see him kind of come back and finish the game strong, picking up those lower order wickets, which was absolutely important too. Lockie Ferguson, 3 overs for 29, 2 wickets, very crucial. Again, someone that we would have hoped we could have gotten a lot more out of in some of the earlier games of the season, but unfortunate that things didn't go RCB's way early on, but still nice to see all these pieces kind of coming together and all the cogs kind of fitting together pretty well now. Karan Sharma once again picking up 2 wickets. He's always going to be that bowler who'll go for a few runs, because he's never someone who'll really loop it up, so it's a little bit predictable when it comes to his trajectory. He's usually a little quicker and flatter, so the batsmen are usually ready for that. And the problem with being that quick and flat is that there is a high likelihood that sometimes you might just pull your length back and it might end up being a little on the shorter side, which means you are going to get clobbered over mid-wicket or long on, long off for some big hits. But I think he still has a lot of heart and skill and the experience that he brings to the table to be able to pick up those key wickets in between. Despite going for a couple of boundaries or a couple of sixes in the over, he's still thinking about that next delivery. What can he do to pick up a wicket, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Once more, great performance from him as well. So yeah, all in all, a lot of things falling in place for RCB, which is absolutely wonderful to see. Once again, it's probably come a couple of games too late. I think this winning run has started a couple of games too late. That 1-run loss against KKR will probably come back to haunt the team eventually. But I think we need to realize that if the team had been on a decent run before that KKR game, if we had a couple of solid wins under our belt, I think that psychologically would have really helped us to get over the line in that KKR game. But the fact that we were on that crazy losing streak, psychologically you're already a little bit demoralized, and you feel like it's a challenge to get over the line, which happens. And I think we paid the price for that and lost that game by 1 run. But yeah, so that game might actually come back to haunt us big time later on. But over the last 4 games, the team has done everything in their might to turn things around. Absolutely positive intent, absolutely positive aggression, wonderful execution. All the skills are coming together well for the team. So wonderful positive signs. And that takes us to 5 wins now out of 12. Still in the hunt mathematically. Again, I've kind of called the season as done and dusted for RCB a few games ago. But mathematically it's still a possibility, but we'll see how things go, 1 game at a time for now. So we have 2 more games left. Next one, so we're done with all our away games. Last 2 are home games. The first one of those being against Delhi Capitals, who are another one of those teams really fighting for that 4th spot right now. And their campaign is also well and truly on the line in this particular game. So depending on how some of these other matches over the next couple of days go, that could very well become a do or die game for Delhi Capitals as well. So yeah, a lot to play for. I think it's going to be an exciting, cracking encounter on Sunday. Chinnaswamy, so bound to be a high scoring game. I was checking up the weather of Bengaluru as soon as today's Punjab Kings game got over. I was trying to see what the weather in Bangalore looks like. From the forecast so far, looks like there's going to be heavy rains on Saturday and then heavy rains from Monday as well. But that one day in between Sunday, which is game day, looks like the forecast says no rains as of now. But things can change on a whim here. So fingers crossed. The last thing you want to see is a team being eliminated because of a game being washed out. Nobody wants to see that. And same thing for Delhi as well. I'm sure they will want to take that opportunity to win the 2 points as well, because that one single point might not really help them in their cause either. So yeah, lots to play for. Absolutely exciting encounter coming up. 1 game at a time, like I said. We'll see how things go. But yeah, 4 games on the trot. This is the kind of team, this is the kind of performance, this is the kind of RCB we were hoping to see from the beginning of the season. Again, unfortunately, coming a little too late in the piece, but hopefully we can keep this going, if nothing else, just as a consolation for the fans. And a lot of these players, I'm sure, are hurting within as well, so they will definitely want to do whatever they possibly can to try and turn things around, and at least do whatever is in their control to try and still make a late push for that 4th spot. But obviously a lot of other results have to go in our favor for us to be even able to think about it. But first things first, we have to win the remaining 2 games before we can think about anything else. So let's see. Interesting, fun few days coming up. But yeah, so that was the recap of the game today. RCB still staying in the hunt. Punjab Kings, unfortunately, knocked out. Second team to be knocked out. Officially eliminated from the tournament after Mumbai Indians. Yeah, I think over the next few days you'll probably see a few more teams bowing out of the race as well. Business end of the tournament now, last 2 or 3 games left for every single team. So there's going to be a lot of crunch games, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of joy for a few teams as well. But that's the part of the tournament that we're in right now. Alright, so that was a recap of today's game. Just a quick catch up on the game from yesterday, which was Sunrisers Hyderabad versus LSG Lucknow Super Giants. At the end of it, just turned out to be an absolutely one-sided affair. Sunrisers Hyderabad just blowing LSG out of the waters in that particular game. When LSG batted first and getting to 160 plus, 166 or 167, definitely was an under par score. When you think about it, I think Sunrisers, playing in Hyderabad, you would anticipate a higher score because the pitches are usually fairly good to bat on there, not really too many demons in the pitch. Outfield is lightning quick, boundaries are fairly small sized as well, so there is no reason for the teams to not really post a 180, 200 kind of a score at least. And with the kind of batting firepower that LSG have, They should have done a lot better. Unfortunately, not scoring too many runs there. KL Rahul, once again, 29 from 33 balls. Understand that the team had lost a couple of early wickets. Decock and Stoinis getting out early, but despite that, I think they still had enough firepower in that batting order to be able to try and keep that momentum going. I think just putting their brakes on the scoring after just the loss of 2 wickets, I think was probably not the right move. And I think that the entire team probably should have scored a little bit more, which kind of was proven by how well Ayush Badoni and Nicholas Pooran were able to score those runs in their partnership. I think they put on 99 runs, something like that, in double quick time. So that was really good to see. So which kind of shows that there weren't too many demons in the pitch, to be honest. It was just not great execution from the top order of LSG. And when SRH came out to bat, man, oh man, it's becoming a familiar sight now. Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma just going hell for leather in the power play. Yet another power play where they finished with over 100 runs and wrapped up the game chasing 166 in 9.4 overs. Absolutely freaky stuff. I don't know what else to say. And yes, I understand that when guys like that get going, it's a little hard to curb them, but the teams have to do better than that. The bowling units have to be a lot better than that. This was a complaint that I had with RCB's bowling when they played against Sunrisers Hyderabad and Chinnaswamy as well. There is no thinking beyond a certain point. When you go for like so many runs in the first 2 or 3 overs itself, it's as if the bowling team just stops thinking about what could work potentially. Nobody is stopping bowlers from bowling those Yorkers or slower bouncers, etc. in the first 6 overs. Just because it is the power play, there is no rule besides the tradition that you try and swing the ball up front as much as possible. But when you see the batsmen are so comfortable hitting on the up and playing so freely, you have to be able to rely on some other bowling options or some other variations in your bowling to be able to try and pick up some wickets or do something to slow the scoring down, if nothing else. LSG again looked like a deer stuck in front of headlights, basically not really doing a whole lot to change up their bowling either. No change in their execution. In fact, they never even brought on their impact player who should have been that extra bowler, and they just kind of went through it like as though it was some formality, especially after the first 6 overs. I think they'd pretty much given up on that game, and it's unfortunate because that was literally virtual knockout for those two teams. LSG, had they won that game, they would have been in a much more comfortable position, but now unfortunately they are pushed to the middle of the pack now to fight with the rest of these teams that are trying to get to 14 points, and especially after the kind of hammering they got in this last game against SRH, their next couple of games are going to be a challenge as well. Not to mention all the drama happening near the dugout after the game as well. Clips surfacing of the LSG owner Goenka talking to KL Rahul there after the game and very visibly expressing his displeasure, and it didn't look like a fun conversation for sure. Seemed very animated and vocal about how the team did, and he was definitely expressing some of his feelings and venting on KL Rahul. Unfortunate that those kind of incidents happened on or around the field where there are just so many cameras these days. Discussions like this should be happening behind closed doors, but even otherwise, I feel like as the owner, you still have a couple of other people that you should probably be directly talking to about performances or strategy or whatever, instead of going directly after the captain. I mean, most teams have like a cricketing director of operations there. They have the head coach there. So to be honest, I really don't understand why the owner would directly be arguing or blasting the captain about certain things. Yes, I understand you're a very passionate owner. and you definitely expect better from this team, which is very obvious. I think this was probably LSG's worst performance in the last 3 years combined. But despite all of that, I think there is like a certain level of respect and decorum that you would like to maintain, and not really get into these kind of discussions in front of the public eye. Nor do I feel in some cases that this is something that you as an owner probably want to discuss directly with your teams as well. Now we've seen other team owners, we've seen the likes of Shah Rukh Khan at Kolkata Knight Riders. To be honest, I don't know how much cricket he talks with the captains there. I think he lets someone like a Venki Mysore drive the operations there. If at all, Venki Mysore needs to talk to someone, I'm sure he talks to guys like Chandrakant Pandit or Gautam Gambhir there, instead of just going after the captain of that team. And that again is just as an example. I think there are a lot of franchises where the owners are highly respectful of the players there. And again, it was just one clip. We don't know what was spoken. It's not like we had the access to the audio or whatever, but just looking at those expressions, you could very, very clearly tell that the owner was not happy with how the team performed. But there is a time and place to have those kind of conversations, and it's definitely not in front of the camera. So that was an unfortunate thing that happened, and leave it to us RCB fans to find the smallest of details and then go bonkers, right? As soon as videos of that conversation surfaced, RCB fans all over the place calling for KL Rahul to come back to RCB next season. Who knows, depending on how the rest of the season turns out for LSG, depending on what kind of equation chemistry the owners have with KL Rahul at the end of the season, we'll see how things go. Obviously, easier said than done. A lot of things need to fall in place for a player to be able to make a move to one particular club. At the most, I think he might just become available in the auction if it comes to that. And again, this is a lot of conjecture and a lot of forward thinking without too many foundational tiles there. But it is a possibility. You never know, right? We as RCB fans would obviously love to have some of our local lads from Bengaluru playing for the franchise. So we'll see. We'll probably talk about all potential options in some future videos as well. But anyway, so that was a recap of the Sunrisers Hyderabad and Lucknow Super Giants game. Looking forward to tomorrow, Gujarat Titans versus Chennai Super Kings, happening in Ahmedabad. Brings back memories of the finals from last season, but both those teams are in very different places now. Gujarat Titans more so, languishing at the bottom of the table. They're in 10th position right now. They do have a game in hand over some of these other teams above them, but again, a must-win game for Gujarat Titans to even try and have some sort of a mathematical possibility of staying alive in this tournament. But yeah, I think a lot has gone wrong for them as a unit right from the beginning of the season. Losing someone like a Hardik Pandya, who was your captain and your go-to all-rounder in the team, replacing someone like that is never easy, and they have not been able to replace him. Similarly, the loss of Mohammad Shami due to injury has been a big blow to their bowling attack as well. A lot of questions for Gujarat Titans, but they will be hoping to turn things around at home again. Will they continue with Vridhiman Saha at the top of the order, who's not been delivering results for them over the last several games? Do they go for someone like Matthew Wade at the top of the order, maybe, just to switch things around a little bit, because it just feels like it's a very familiar kind of a pattern that they're getting into. The same things kind of keep repeating over the last several games, and the results have not gone their way. So I think it's about time that they make a few changes to try and see if they can, somehow get a victory under their belt, but it's not going to be easy. Especially against a team like Chennai Super Kings, who knows exactly how to win these kind of crunch games. On the contrary, though, for Chennai Super Kings, their pace bowling attack is looking a little light now all of a sudden. Deepak Chahar has been on and off with niggles and injuries, so I'm not really sure what his availability is going to look like for tomorrow's game. He did not play the last game. Matisha Pathirana has been injured and he's flown back to Sri Lanka. Mustafizur Rahman has been recalled back to the Bangladesh national team for the last couple of T20s as well. So likely no Deepak Chahar, definitely no Pathirana, definitely no Mustafizur. So that is a big hole for Chennai Super Kings. They did remarkably well in the last game, particularly because Tushar Deshpande has stepped up big time over the last couple of games and has delivered some crucial wickets in the power play for them. In addition to that, Simarjeet Singh also has come into the playing 12 last game, so I'm sure his services will be needed again in tomorrow's game against Gujarat Titans as well. But it is looking a little shaky right now for the CSK pace bowling attack. But we will have to see how they compensate for that. If Tushar Deshpande continues to continues with that form that he's in right now, they can still probably get away with a slightly weaker pace bowling attack. But I think they will still be relying very heavily on their spinners to try and make it a more competitive match. So the guys like Ravindra Jadeja, Mitchell Santner, who's found his way into the team over the last couple of games, these guys are going to have a big role to play. Batting wise, I think they're fairly sorted. I think not too many concerns there, but it's the pace bowling department, especially if Tushar Deshpande or Simarjeet aren't able to pick up some wickets in the power play. That I think will be the biggest challenge for them. I think Shardul Thakur is someone who can come in and bowl a few key overs in the middle, but again, I think right at the top they're going to miss guys like Deepak Chahar if he's not fit. And in the middle overs, Mustafizur Rahman, and towards the death, they're going to miss someone like Matisha Pathirana. So it's going to be a challenging game for them, absolutely no doubt about it. But Chennai has this way of finding match winners from different parts of their team across the tournament in different games. Someone else or the other puts their hand up in most games to really step up and do it for their team. But it's an absolutely critical game for them as well. Obviously not in the position where they want to be, fighting for the top 4 right now. But first of all, if they want to try and realistically even dream about a top 2 finish, this match is going to be absolutely critical for them. But if they don't win this one, then they can pretty much kiss the top 2 places goodbye. And then it'll be more of a battle for survival to finish in 3rd or 4th position, which is never easy, and not a lot of fun heading into the last game or 2 of the tournament. So a lot to play for in the game tomorrow as well, so we'll see how that game goes. But so that was my recap of today's game. RCB once again thumping Punjab Kings, doing the double over them this season again, winning by 60 runs. And the dream lives on. We'll see how far we can get. But it's been 4 wins in 4 games now. So we'll take it to the next game and we'll see how that goes. Thank you once again, folks, for joining me. This is Shravan with Willow and Leather. Thank you for all the incredible support that you've been sharing. Please do share some comments on this video. What are your thoughts on RCB's chances? What do you think our top 4 is going to look like at the end of this group stage? Any other interesting thoughts or interesting tidbits that I might have missed about today's game, please do let me know. I'd really appreciate everyone's support in sharing these videos with your friends as well. Thank you once again. This is Willow and Leather. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.